Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world. And it's time, we're back with the W12 Sprint Series. Season number 7. The draw has been, we have already entered qualifying. Qualifying has half a minute left on it only. So most of the drivers have qualified already. And you can see Mirko Bortolotti repping number 1 for this season. For the first time, he is doing that. He is the champion, of course, from our previous 6 seasons. It's time we get a new champion. And oh boy, has he got some contenders with him this season. This field is absolutely stacked with high-rated, high-rating drivers. So it's going to be a fun season. Joining me in the commentary booth for tonight is Ed from Forsland. He drives for Simrace Sweden Esports. They'll be joining me to give you some insights on the driving perspective. We have drawn Magny-Cours with the rallycross cars. Let's get into it immediately. This is how it's standing at the moment. It's Markus Steffel who has taken the pole position ahead of Mirko Bortolotti. So Markus Steffel with his 4.4k I-rating. Mirko said that to me earlier. I-rating is more of a number because these boys are quick, and especially when they drive W12. Rafael Renhofer is a 9.7k I-rating driver. He's in P3. So there's a big hitters in the championship. Let's see what it's going to bring. We haven't really driven this rallycross car ever in the W12. And the fun thing is we're going to do it on a conventional circuit. So that's going to bring some fun things with it as well. Edwin, welcome in. What can we expect from this quite strange track and car combination?
Well, mostly the rallycross car is obviously meant for both off-road and road, so it's going to be interesting for you to tackle a fully tarmac track. And it's a car that likes to slide out a lot, and it's very easy to keep on at a slip angle. So it's going to be fun to see what the drivers will be doing in the race and how the racing side by side is going to go as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, here we go. We have the grid for you then. Markus Steffel takes pole. Rafael Renhofer in P2. Robert Heger P3. Andrea Frasinetti in P4. Maximilian Paul in P5. Ben Hitz in P6. Leon Blum in P7. Martin Stadtmann in 8. Markus Riemann 9. Lukas Baza in P10. Mario Trummer P11. P12 for Robert Koppler. Ben Green in P13. Hugo Sasse 14. Christian Ablasser 15th. And Philippe Hugret in 16th. That's the grid for you for heat number 1. Now it is as follows. The heats will take place and they will decide who will start the race from P1 to P10. Now this first heat is going to decide who's going to start on the pole position, then 3rd, then 5th, then 7th, and then 9th. So it's going to decide the right hand side of the grid, the uneven numbers, the odd numbers. And the next heat, also 6 minutes long, will decide the even numbers on the grid for the top 5 at least. Everyone who finishes outside the top 5 in this heat will go to the consolation race, and they will decide on their finishing positions. The positions they start from P11 all the way down to as many participants as we have on the evening. 16 drivers taking part in this first heat session. We're waiting for Markus Riemann to take place on the grid. Here are the full names. It's quite a name from Markus Steffel. We'll just call him Markus Steffel for the time being. Here we go, first time ever.
Green, green, green.
Starts in the W12 Sprint Series for season number 7. We're green, green, green. Beats Markus Steffel off the line. The start in these cars also important. Markus Steffel being done around the outside by Andrea Frasinetti. Manages to cover that off at least. Robert Heger being overtaken by Maximilian Paul. Not a lot of drivers actually have a livery for this car, so that's going to be difficult to keep them apart for us at least. For now though, top 3 with a bit of a gap down to Maximilian Paul. This is the corner where usually all happens. See if we all get through there cleanly. There's a car around in the background, seems to be Ben Green. Oh, massive crash. Assassin that was. Between those two. But like, Edvin, we've at least gotten through the first couple of corners cleanly. Now we're going to see what the real and true pace is of these drivers in the front.
Yeah, no, it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top in this car. Like you said, Marcus Steffel started on pole, didn't get off the line the best, so Renhofer took advantage of that and took the lead. Then also Andrea Frasinetti got a run down to the hairpin and just, you know, went up the inside and got the move done. So well done to them, and not the best start for Marcus.
No, not indeed.
P3.
Yeah, P3 frame is not too bad though. We can see at the front, Rafael Renhofer, 1.3 seconds the gap already. He seems to have found his groove with the Subaru, with the Ford, and with the VW, Volkswagen. And all cars are pretty much equal in terms of performance. Now we once again have an overall and a silver class. The silver drivers are also racing for the overall championship. Just have a different championship for themselves to compete in as well. So that makes things interesting for them at least. Lucas Paza is leading the way there, is indeed the top 5. And that's really what we're aiming at here. Points is not really one of the main figures in this race. It's mainly just getting through in the top 5 at least. You have to do that consolation race. And you make sure you're at least in the top 5 for the feature race where the big points are awarded. It's the battle between Marcus Steffel and Maximilian Paul moving up the inside.
Looked like it was contact there, so we're hopefully you never know with iRacing, so
no indeed. Now, interesting to note is that Maximilian Paul, also a great friend from Mirko Bortolotti, who does most of the organizing of the W12 Sprint Series, also races in DTM. So I can tell you, the boy can drive. Racing in the number 71 in the VW, only VW on the podium, but also great to see, Edvin, is that we have all 3 manufacturers in the top 3 and on the podium. That means all 3 are equal. Now W12 does work with a balance of performance, a BOP. That is included in these cars. They are all similar from how iRacing brings them to you. So not much work to do there for the organizers. Now there is BOP later on maybe for the GT3s, the GTEs and all other cars. But that's later in server 2. Marcus Steffel, after starting on pole position, dropping down all the way to 4th. Looking further down in the field, Robert Kopla trying to come back on Mario Trumma. Votes from Jocelyn Sim races, I was going to say, but that isn't the case. Mario Trumma racing for Jan Moment Racing. Difficult to keep them apart without a livery. Not a lot of teams have a livery for this car. It's not a car that's driven a lot in iRacing in general under their community. But at the front of the field, Rafael Renhofer, 2.8 seconds ahead. And being a driver, Edvin, it does calm you down a bit, doesn't it, when you have that gap behind you?
yeah, I mean, it always means that oh, there's quite a scruff going on for P2 right now, very tightly. But yeah, no, I have to say, like, getting a gap like that. Ooh.
He did the switch back on both of them. Marcus Steffel gets through on both. Maximilian Paul. Oh my goodness me. We had a moment last season that is still a moment in all the discords that are in W12. When my oh my, that was a switch back in race. But that was one such moment into the pit. So what's going to happen here then? That's a late commitment to the pit lane from Maximilian Paul. Martin Stammar able to continue.
Yes, in the Lego car. Beautiful.
That is one beautiful livery indeed. Is this something that we don't know? Because usually you do not have to pit in these races. In these heat races that are 6 minutes long, you do usually not have to pit. So there might be something funky going on there. Do they have to take fuel? They didn't take enough fuel maybe, but why can Martin Stammar and Ben Hitz then continue is my question.
I mean, it could be that they didn't take enough fuel. Usually these cars aren't going for such long laps, so maybe they just don't have the fuel tank capacity for it. I'm not really sure. I don't have too much experience in these cars, but it might be something like that. But yeah, obviously Ben Hitz and Martin Stockman and the people staying out obviously know something that we don't.
It says caution in the top left. That's not right. Because you do not have cautions on a road course in W12. And we don't race on ovals. Now he's using the grass there. It's something that you can't do with these cars. Ben Hitz smartly using everything in the track that he is allowed to use. I don't think that was quite an off track. That's a tricky chicane as well, uphill, especially in these cars. Now they do have quite okay brakes, but especially how you put down the power in these cars is what makes them so interesting to everyone. Now, we are coming up to the checkered flag. I was going to say, I think we're on the last lap here, Edvin. And Ben Hitz is going to take it. Martin Stadtmann is going to finish in P2. He's going to come through. Sorry, go ahead, Edvin.
I think we missed it, but Raphael Renhofer is out.
Yeah, he is. Raphael Renhofer dropping all the way down out of this race. Philippe Hugrin therefore takes P3. Marcus Steffel, after starting on pole position, qualifying first, will get P4 only. And Robert Koppler will take P5. Those are the drivers that continue to the feature race. Don't have to do the consolation race. Lucas Baza in P10.
Yeah, no, I have to say that's really strong by Philippe Hugrin, who is in the silver class and making it through to the next, or to the feature race, sorry. So that's a really strong performance by him. And obviously staying out was the move, so my guess is a lot of the drivers maybe didn't take enough fuel.
Yeah, I think so too. It could be. We'll see what happens in this second race. Maybe drivers had to look after fuel. They knew that from the beginning. That's why they were a bit slower. Who knows? Mirko Bortolotti will start on the pole for the second session, or the second heat race. Niels Langeveld will start alongside him on the front row. Marinko Jordanovski in P3. And Nick Augustin in P4. Marius Zug in P5. P6 for Florian Becker. Hendrik Störer, P7. Tobias Kurz in 8. Stefano Pellegrino, first of the silver drivers in this heat. Then it's Florian Stadtmann in P10. Jan Lins in P11. And P12 for Jens Fiedler. P13 for Ivan Ferrari. Moritz Hametner in P14. Ben Buhnagel in 15th. And Davy Ömer in P16. That is the starting grid for this second heat race. What are we expecting out of it? More of the same? I do think so. I can't hear your answer because we're already going to the start. The 5 red lights are coming on. Mirko Bortolotti on the left-hand side of the screen. It's a good start. Almost pulling a wheelie off the start. Jordanovski and Niels Langeveld can't quite pull that off. Has to watch out now behind him because Marius Zug is looking for a way through. Bortolotti at the front of the field though. Quite a cool start, easy start for him. A lot of trouble. A beautiful pink car. Now we do know one thing. Mirko might be running a pink car for the whole of this evening. He's struggling with trading paints issues. Marius Zug, he's going to go wide. No, he actually takes that place from Marinko Jordanovski, who is the one who went wide. One of the few in this field who does have a livery for this car. And the Augustin behind him.
I was just going to say as well, that livery on that car is the old WRC livery that Volkswagen used when they raced the Polo, I think so. Or maybe it was the Golf, I don't really remember. But yeah, no, it's great to see that livery on track again.
That's what we have in for them. That kind of inside information. A man who's very interested in the world of motorsport is Edvin. Of course, drives simulators himself as well. He's won quite a few things. Indy 500 is one of the things that is included. So if there's one man with the expertise, it is Edvin. So you're going to have to rely on him for all those things for tonight. Mirko Bortolotti, a man with a lot of experience as well.
Oh, going wide, but he keeps it on track.
That's one thing with these cars, Evan. You can lock up pretty easily in the background. Marinko Jordanovski is absolutely qualifying. The one lap qualifying makes it that you have to be precise. You cannot make a mistake. And also you have to make your way forward in these heat races. Davy Ömer, one such driver.
Yeah, just to pick up on what you said there about the brakes in this car. Yeah, it's very, very not the best brakes, and you can lock up quite easily. But thankfully, these cars have the handbrake, and it's very useful, especially in tight corners, because it turns the car around and it doesn't send it, flying off or anything. So it's quite useful actually if you feel like you're going wide. Just maybe yank the handbrake a little bit. Oh, going very wide there in the Rockman's livery. That's also an old school Porsche livery.
Back on track with a live timing. Marco Bortolotti needs to lead in this race. Jordanovski finding his groove slowly but surely. Seems like he was able to do it over one lap. He was able to learn this car a bit quicker than others maybe were. Once again a Lego car in the field. That's also a great looking car. Botman's livery.
Yeah.
Also a retro livery, isn't it, Ivan?
Yeah, I literally just said it. Yeah, no, that's an old livery the Porsche used to race. So also what it was used in MotoGP, if I don't misremember. So on the motorbike. Oh, Mirko Bortolotti going wide again.
That seems to be a car he's struggling with. Marius Zug in the background did exactly the same thing. It might be a super thing, I think. Marius Zug did exactly the same thing. He's driving exactly the same car. Now.
Yes, could be. I like I said, I don't really have experience. I've only driven the Volkswagen, so. But yeah, it could absolutely definitely be something with the Subaru not liking that corner with the brakes.
Now, like I said, brakes are quite tricky. No ABS on these cars, easy to lock up. Berkelboot's not in the front field. An 8/10 gap. Doing what he needs to do.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he's doing what he needs to do. There's not really much to ask for Mirko Bortolotti. Seems like he's driving quite a relaxed race at least. Niels Langeveld behind him is trying to put the pressure on him, but he's not getting any closer than a second at the moment.
Yeah, it always helps to have a little bit of a gap, because that way you can find the rhythm yourself and get stressed up by having a driver behind maybe putting pressure, forcing you offline because you need to defend from it. So that's quite a nice gap for Mirko Bortolotti to just have and find the rhythm and, just keep the gap.
It's Langeveld in the background. He's about a second ahead of Marius Zug. Jordanovski himself is trying to get close. He's on that last position that goes through to the feature race. So that'll be important there. It seems like our time is once again frozen. This is a reoccurring issue from last season at least. Bortolotti leading the way.
Once
2.6
again.
seconds.
Once again, we have some people going into the pit lane, so I wonder if it is a fuel thing, because most of the drivers are staying out this time. Oh, that's an old school livery as well from the Subaru.
In the pit lane, in that pit stop for quite long actually. Or do they have to take new tires? Are they completely ruining their tires maybe? Because they did go up in the air.
Could be, but they, yeah, like you said, need the new tires. I don't think these cars are, really designed, or maybe the tires are designed to go on tarmac for this long, so maybe they're just overheating the tires and wearing them out.
Well, it's something that we'll have to ask them later in the interviews. Only then we'll really know. But Mirko Bortolotti doing what he needs to do. It looks like it, and he's going to take that also wanted at least front row for the feature race. That's all I think that Mirko Bortolotti cares about. He's going to take the maximum points for the heat as well. So once again, our champion from all the previous 6 seasons, starting this season in style and how he's used to from all the other seasons. Mirko Bortolotti, 2 more corners to round off, not locking up this time, crucially. The chicane to go, and Mirko Bortolotti wins the heat race, puts himself on the front row. Marius Zug will follow him. He will start in the second row. Hendrik Augustin tried some heroics on the last lap on Marius Zug. Where has Niels Langeveld gone to? Niels Langeveld has made the mistake somewhere.
Oh, I think he's run out of fuel.
Oh, that might be. There you go. And I think we have our answer there. Well, drama in the heat races already. Consolation race is 5 minutes, so we might be a lap shorter. Yeah, that looks to be fuel. That looks to be fuel to me.
Yep. That's a shame, because he was running second behind Mirko Bortolotti for most of the race, and yeah, just fell out of the top 5, so he's not making it to the feature race, unfortunately.
Not yet. Of course, every driver after the consolation race will go through to the feature race, but he won't be in the top 10 at least, and that's severely going to hamper his chances, Edwin, for a good result, at least in the feature race. And this reoccurring theme of our life timings being stuck seems to become more and more of a reoccurring theme.
Yes, you're gonna have to excuse me for a second.
We should be back, and we should have a grid that we can go through. Here we go. Leon Bloom will start on the pole for the consolation race. Henrik Streurer, P2. Andrea Frasinetti, P3. Tobias Kurz, 4th. Robert Heger, 5th. Ben Buhnagel, 6th. Lucas Baza in 7th. Moritz Hametner in P8. Hugo Zasse in 9th. Jens Fiedler, 10th. Ben Green in 11th. And Jan Lins in P12. P13 for Christian Ablasa. 14 Florian Becker. 15 Maximilian Paul. 16 Florian Stadtmann. 17 Mario Trummer. We're already starting. We have to go to the front of the field. We can't go through the rest of the grid, it seems like.
Green, green, green.
Here we go. Leon Bloom starting from the pole in this race. Time's quite short of it. Challenged on the inside by the driver who started P3 this race. Andrea Frasinetti, he goes through to the front of the field from the second row of the grid. Crash in the background as well. Streurer has made it through at least. Stefano Pellegrino already in pit lane, so he's going to start from the back, it seems like. Ben Green back in pit lane, Lucas Baza in pit lane, Moritz Hametner. He will go to pit lane too because he won't go any further.
That's a huge crash.
That's a massive shunt indeed. Marcus Rima, also an Austrian sim racer. His Austrian sim racer is not having the best evening so far. Quite unlucky with all the incidents, especially at the start, but 4 drivers out already. And we're expecting a field that will be 10 cars bigger for the feature race as well, Edwin.
Yes, no, for sure. And also Raphael Renhoff making a great start already.
See what he can do. Of course, he qualified on the pole position after that one-shot qualifying. Bloom trying to make his way past all these drivers. I don't know if they're having to fuel save, Edwin, because we obviously have a minute less, but will that minute be the white flag at lap 3 or still lap 4? That's our question. That's going to have to be answered soon. We're coming through to lap 1. Counting that way, we'll still have, it seems like, Evan, we'll still have, oh, it's going to be close though.
I do think it's gonna end up being the same amount of laps as in the heats still.
Yeah, that 1 minute isn't going to do much, it seems like.
Yeah, Andrea Frasinetti currently leading and having Leon Bloom right behind, so.
He's looking to the inside. Oh. Andrea Frasinetti disappears for a second. He comes back and is still ahead. Reappears ahead of Leon Bloom. Robert Heger has gotten past Henrik Streurer though. Now, they would start. Andrea Frasinetti in P11 at least, so damage limitation. This race is about contact between Jens Fiedler and Henrik Streurer. Jens Fiedler in the Red Bull livery car. Henrik Streurer in the retro livery 1 month car.
I do believe we're fine though, because contact is a common thing in rallycross. These guys, or these cars, sorry, can do some bumping without issues, so I don't think that's going to affect their performance too much. But they've lost a lost a bit of time to the top 3 now, so hopefully they can get back in it.
Yeah, let's see. See if I can pump up a time somewhere so we know how it goes there.
Oh, very wide for Hendrik Sturer.
He manages to keep it going though, crucially. But that sets him up badly for the right-hander after, and that allows Jens Fiedler to get through though. Long run to the hairpin now. Slipstream will do its work. But that puts him back into P5 for Hendrik Sturer. Oh, massive send to the inside. Big look. Not more than that.
Jens Fiedler going a bit wide.
Andrea Frasinetti has dropped Edvin. Andrea Frasinetti has dropped to P3. The battle for the lead, fierce as ever. Leon now leading. He's at the front of this group. They're coming up to some lapped ASR traffic.
And what a
massive
switchback
from Robert Hega. A send from Andrea Frasinetti. Doesn't pay off. There we go, that's our time left. We're on lap 3. We might be on the last lap. Leon Blum, it's going to be close. We should be. Yeah, we should be on the last lap. Full push for these guys from here.
Yeah, I think Andrea Frasinetti is running out of fuel or something, because he's just dropping through the field now. He's down to P5.
Even with a lap shorter race, Andrea Frasinetti seems to have problems. Massive lock-up. Frasinetti contact with Jens Fiedler. 3 wide into the chicane. That's never going to work. The two of them crash. And that's going to hamper their starting positions. Oh boys, 3 wide in that chicane was never going to work.
And from all that, Raphael Renhofer makes it through to the feature race.
My goodness me. Well then. That's going to be P15 for Raphael Renhofer. But that could have ended up so much worse. I think the lucky person to get out of there is Andrea Frasinetti. He finishes P3, so that'll be P13 for him. But that is some drama right at the death of it. I mean, Edvin, 3 wide into that chicane was never really going to work, was it?
Yeah, that chicane is way too tight for it to work going 3 wide through there. I don't even think 2 wide is possible through there, to be honest with you. So that was quite an enthusiastic move, to say the least.
Yeah, we have 1 car out on track still. And that's finished. Moritz Hamet now. I'm practicing a start, but doesn't have the time for it. Alrighty then. The consolation race is finished. We're waiting to get to the feature race. The feature race though, Edvin, we'll see a massive grid. And a grid that I'll try and go through now. If it decides to show up. At some point, please. Oh, it's warm-up. Oh, the classic. The classic, Edvin. I've done it so many times last season. We have a short warm-up in between the races. Give the guys at least a bit of a break. But goodness me, this is going to be some chaos with, what, 32 cars?
Yeah, it's going to be a massive race, this.
Team up.
That's
off the tires.
Excuse me.
That's more like that's more what this car likes.
Yeah, that's a certified rallycross line right there.
Now I am surprised that I'm not seeing more drivers practice the starts. Jordanovski dropped back after a good qualifying position in the heat races. Didn't manage to get himself through, however, to the feature race in the top 10. So job well done by him.
I must say though, I am quite surprised I'm not seeing a lot of drivers use the handbrakes for the sharper turns. Considering it is quite useful in these cars, but it might be a thing where they have to conserve the tires. So they don't want to be sliding too much.
And it's also a thing of the tighter corners. You don't really want to slide through them. You can maybe take more speed in, but it's going to bog you right down on the exit. So I don't even know if it's actually faster. And remember, they've only had half an hour to experiment with things. So it's not like they could have experimented absolutely everything, because the lap time is about 1 minute 40. They obviously have to get to know the car and the track for some people. So maybe it is quicker, but they just haven't discovered it yet, or they keep it up their sleeve for the feature race. I don't know. Whatever's going to happen is it's going to be an interesting one. We do have the grid now to go through, Edwin, though, and that's going to be a big one. So I'll try and do this quickly, okay? Ben Hitz will start on pole, Mirko Bortolotti second, Martin Stadtmann and Marius Stuk in the second row, Philippe Grein, Hendrik Augustin on the third, Markus Steffel and Mariko Jordanowski in the fourth row, Robert Koppla and Niels Langeveld on the fifth row, Leon Blum and Robert Higga 11th and 12th respectively, 13th Störer, 14th Renhofer, Becker and Ablasa on 15 and 16, Stadtmann and Ferrari on 17 and 18, Linz on 17th, Trummer 20th, Fiedler 21st, Davy Overma in P22, Ben Bunagel 23rd, Marcus Rima P24, P25 for Andreas Frasinetti, Tobias Kurz in P26, Hugo Zasse 27, Maximilian Paul 28, Stefano Pellegrino 29, Moritz Hametna P30, Ben Green P31, Lucas Baza P32. Interesting to see what Moritz Hametna can do. He will try to come back through the field. Pole position though for Ben Hitz. Mirko Bortolotti starting next to him on the front row. Gridding is complete. Let's go to the race. Waiting for the 5 red lights to illuminate.
Green flag, green flag.
And they go out. We're green. That was a quick one. Mirko Bortolotti once again getting away well inside on the Hitz already. And he once again gets through. Good jump from Mirko Bortolotti in the Subaru. And from here on, Edwin, I think it's going to be all about fuel saving.
Yeah, this is definitely a longer race, so this is probably going to have to include a pit stop, I would assume, since a lot of them didn't make it even in the heat races. So.
Yeah, in the feature races, usually we'll have at least one pit stop. The cars are made, even cars that have a bigger fuel tank are made for it. Are we all going to get through? It doesn't sound like no massive crash.
Huge pile up, huge pile up.
Can we get a better view of it? Yes, we can.
Oh
my goodness, cars flying absolutely everywhere. Who's the 47 flying through the air, still getting collected?
Yeah.
He's still not done tumbling around Florian Becker. Heck of a ride for him. That car is still in one piece is a surprise to me. My goodness.
The fact that car is still drivable is quite entertaining, to be honest.
But the way it's driving though,
yeah, it
it's
looks
quite
like
comical.
Looks like you have a bad connection.
Yeah, that's quite comical. But from comical to important, Mirko Bortolotti, a second of a gap already at the front of the field. We'll leave the NASCAR ticker off because it seems to be freezing the whole overlay the whole time. I only have one hand free to refresh it all the time, but in a new lake. So just keep it like this for now. Mirko Bortolotti is second at the front of the field. Martin Stadtmann.
And we already have people in the pit lane. Ben Hitz is one of them.
Is that because of damage? Yeah, that doesn't look like a happy car. Oh no, Ben Hitz hits the car in front of it. So our pole sitter is in already. A lot of cars in with damage. And half of our field, if we look down at Ben Green, half of our field is in pit lane.
Yeah, but it's not really surprising considering the huge pileup that was at turn 3.
I mean, we're going to need to get a replay at some point of it. Probably after we've had the interviews. Before we go into the draw, that's going to take on track for Martin Stadtmann. Goodbye. There goes all your time that you've gained. You're going to have a slowdown, my friend. And Mirko Bortolotti is going to be laughing, clenching his fist. Yeah, look at the gap now between him and Martin Stadtmann. Mirko Bortolotti is on fuel-saving mode and he has a bit of a gap. That's the best that he could have hoped for. And once again, Edwin, we see that Mirko Bortolotti is just able to run away with it in front. Philippe Grein trying to make his way through the silver class driver. Once again, trying to make his way onto the overall top 3 podium. Contact between the two. Philippe Gray on the outside in the Subaru.
He's made that move stick, but we'll see if Hendrik Augustin can come back at him.
The two seem quite equal in terms of pace. Into the pits he goes, so that's your answer. In the background, Leon Bloom, I think that is, yes. Leon Bloom has come round. Now, I don't think that's too big of a problem because you can recover quite quickly. Watch the rejoin. These cars are used to some grass, but yeah, it does lose him a couple of positions. P10 he's in now. And he's definitely going to lose a couple of positions after he's made his pit stop too. Goodness me, 4 seconds already, Edwin.
Yeah, it's he has a really nice gap now to just find his rhythm, conserve the tires, fuel save a little maybe, to be able to spend less time in the pits later. So no, that's a great gap for him to have, and shame for Martin Stappmann that he got that slowdown for cutting the track, but rules are rules, you have to stay within the track, even in these cars.
Well, I think the most impressive thing for me is that Philippe Gray has found his way back onto the podium. Even though he's a silver class driver, I mean, the 1.8 KI rating. What about that? Philippe Gray, top 3.
Yeah, it's a silver driver in the feature race being top 3. It's absolutely great for him. Great performance so far.
Florian Becker has been able to repair that car with his one fast repair. And is out on track again, not driving funnily this time at least.
Yeah, currently behind a very nice old school Subaru WRC livery.
Massive though, Edwin, our winner and our champion is into the pit lane. Mirko Bortolotti, after 5 minutes and 10 seconds, he will make his stop. He will go up into the air. Rafael Renhofer will take over that first position. Mirko Bortolotti, when will he come out? Where will he come out? How many positions will he lose? There you go, on pit exit.
Now it's full throttle now just to get out between. I think he has a pretty nice gap. Yes, very nice gap for him to come out in. Now he can just pace his own pace, and to be honest with you, Dan, I do think we might see 2 pit stops in this race.
Judging by the fact that they pit at the 5-minute mark, yeah, you might see 3 even. They might not even be able to make it to the 18-minute mark if they don't fuel save enough. Maybe that's Rafael Renhofer, his strategy here. Slow it down a bit on this first stint. Needing to make 1 less pit stop. That can be crucial in the end.
Yeah, and Marius Suk following him on that strategy. Excuse me, can't talk.
Both in the Subaru. And it's the Ford of Ben Buhnagel behind that once again. Oh, is that a slowdown for Ben Buhnagel? It seems like it. Or is that another issue? Or is that fuel? That might be fuel.
Yeah,
has he taken it 1 lap too far? Oh, Ben Buhnagel.
Yeah, it looks like that car is coughing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be stuck there.
That's a shame.
Means Mirko Bortolotti inherits P3. Philippe
Yes,
Gray
we have
after
the
the
2
pit
leaders
stops.
in the pit lane.
Philippe Gray after the pit stops in P8. Indeed, the top 2 now making... Oh, he's changing tyres! He didn't turn... Someone didn't turn off his tyres here, and that might cost him. No, it doesn't. Seems to be quite equal. Rafael Renhofer did gain a little bit. Not too bad. Mirko Bortolotti inherits the race lead once again. But that gap has come down to Renhofer though. The gap was 2 seconds before, or 4 seconds before this. It's 1.4 now.
That's a big overcut by Rafael Renhofer, because he wasn't even second. I don't even think he was in the top 3 before the pit stop, so that's a great overcut done by him.
Of course, remember, Rafael Renhofer was the driver who was competing for the victory in the heat races. Markus Steffel, he took the pole positions, he's not out of this either. Mirko Bortolotti, it's impressive to me how he can do this every time in every different car that somehow find ourselves into, Edvin, it's something special that Mirko Bortolotti just has on him. He's able to adapt so quickly. And once again, we're seeing that this evening. 2.2 seconds the gap to Rafael Rennhofer. Leaving Mirko Bortolotti saving a bit more fuel than he was in the stint before. He might want to make at least the 12-minute or 11-minute mark. But yeah, Mirko Bortolotti, our 6-time champion of the W12 Sprint Series. No one else but Mirko Bortolotti has won this championship so far. It looks like he's going to start it the way he ended it last season, with the victory, keeping it all the way on the curb.
Yeah, no, it's really impressive, but also I think Rafael Rennhofer is trying to make it so he only needs to do 2 stops.
Now, if that's the case, then Rafael Rennhofer is in the position you want to be in here.
Because he's losing a lot of time to Mirko Bortolotti, and obviously he might just be fuel saving a lot more than the leader.
I do think Mirko is also fuel saving. Let's see if we can go on board and listen what he's doing. Oh, these cars do sound absolutely awesome. Let's listen in. Yeah, big fuel saving on Mirko Bortolotti. The best place to hear that is here. He's going to lift. Yes, he is. Full push though from Mirko Bortolotti. Not lifting there whatsoever, not lifting here either. Onto that short back straight. It's not really straight, but it's flat out at least. 2.9 seconds the gap now. Let's listen. Is he lifting? No, he isn't. Has to brake very early though in these cars. But I mean, crucially, he isn't lifting, Edvin, and he's going flat out.
Yeah, I think he's just doing full push, but Rafael Rennhofer has to be full saving in the back, I think. I really do think he's trying to make it to the 2-stop, only trying to make 2 stops here, which means that Mirko Bortolotti really has to push quite a bit on the final stint.
If Mirko Bortolotti has to pit this lap, then I think he might be in trouble. We'll see at the end of this lap, because it was quite a long pit stop. Pit time from all the drivers, about 14 to 13 seconds average. So I do think you can completely fuel up the car. Maybe there just wasn't enough fuel in the car from the beginning, and they were able to fuel up the car after that. So this is take the same car for him. He isn't lifting either, it sounded like at least. We'll stay on board with him for a bit. He's bringing the neck a bit. 3 seconds is the gap, and it stays at that for now. Looking after his tires, maybe a little bit better than Mirko Bortolotti is. Taking all of that curb, you can do that in these cars. Lock up for Mirko Bortolotti. So does Rafael Rennhofer. So both are equal through that corner. Is he lifting? No, he isn't lifting either. I think there might be a full push here, Edvin.
We'll see.
Side by side with Martin Stadtmann and Augustin on the inside of Martin, and he gets through 2 wide to the chicane. This didn't work 3 wide. They make it work 2 wide though. Well done, lads. Great fighting, great spirits, and great respect between the 3 of them. From Martin Stadtmann on Mariko Jordanovski.
Oh, goes very wide, very in the Lego car.
Marcus Steffel has also gone through. Martin Stadtmann now also in the pressure from Philippe Leclerc, who has dropped down though after that pit stop. But look at the group that's ahead of him, and all these positions he can pick up. Forward now with Philippe Leclerc. Chooses the outside for the hairpin. And we'll give him a mega exit, but he can't really do anything with it because the inside's blocked. 3 three Subarus on the podium though. Seems like the Subaru on the long run, Edvin, might be the better car to be in.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it so far through all the races really, that the Subaru seems to be the best car here. Only in the...
Oh, contact!
Oh, big contact between three drivers. Oh, contact again.
There was also contact on the outside before, I think, with Jordanovski together with Martin Stadtmann. And Philippe Becret was just behind that and unsighted. You can see the damage on the front right of that car. Wasn't able to capitalize of it because, well, Martin Stadtmann got spun to the inside by Jordanovski.
And Rafael Renault and Mario Sugi is actually in the pit lane before Mirko Bortolotti.
Well, that's a surprise to me.
Yeah, that's a surprise for me too.
Let's hope Mirko hasn't gone too long.
Maybe we're hoping for the undercut to work. Or, yeah, like you said, maybe Mirko just missed the pit lane.
Now Mirko is so, I mean, he has so much experience. I don't think he would miss the pit entry, would he?
Can happen to the best of us, but yeah, probably not.
Ben hits in P2 now. That gap was ever 4 seconds, but it's up to 10 seconds now. This was the gap we saw before the pit stops. And then Augustin lost that position. Marcus Steffel makes his way through in the Ford. Let's see, Subaru still in the front, but it seems like the VWs and the Fords are able to go a bit longer at least. Mirko Bortolotti, let's see, is he going to come in now? Does he need to come in, or can he just finish this race and attack the fuel he has now? Judging by the fact that the others had to come in, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either, considering he made a stop 1 lap before the others before. So he's probably not going to be able to make it up fuel. Let's see, will he pit? No, he stays out for another lap.
Oh, that means he's got to make it 2 more laps. Next lap will be white flag. Mirko Bortolotti might have calculated this perfectly. He was able to pit a lap earlier, and then he's able to go a lap longer. That is a question to me how he's pulled that one off.
Might just be that the others made a miscalculation on the fuel.
Not putting enough fuel in it at the pit stop maybe, because Ben hits, Marcus Steffel and Augustin were able to continue as well. Was that maybe why they were so close to Mirko Bortolotti? Because they took less fuel than the others? Okay, after everything that's happened in the top 5, and that will be great points in the Silver Championship, but also overall, remember, Silver drivers can also fight for the overall championship. So it doesn't have to give any positions up. Every position is a position in the overall championship too.
He was last season's Silver Cup champion, so great performance by him.
Yeah, he might be moved up to gold with the performance that he's shown so far this evening. We'll see. Something for the organisation to discuss later on. One thing's for sure, Edvin, and that's that Philippe Becret hasn't driven like a silver driver here this evening. He's very much driven like a champion, which he of course was in the silver class last season. And how you do that is by staying out of trouble. Now, we did have a moment together with Mariko Jordanovski, who is now under pressure by, let's see if Mirko Bortolotti pits. No, he hasn't. He stayed out once again. He's going to make it, Edvin. He's going to make it to the flag. Philippe Becret, let's look at this battle. It's about to become a 3-horse race. Good exit from Mariko. He's pulling to the inside, pulling out of the draft. It's from Philippe Becret, making that corner much tighter than it needs to be. Contact. The inside now for the right-hander. That's where you want to be in an understeer car. Don't make it 3 wide to you, Henrik Augustin.
This is the type of racing you love to see in these cars.
Oh, contact! That's not what you love to see. Mariko Jordanovski. He's done everything right so far. That left rear wheel is not pointing the right direction anymore. He's going to be limping home. We'll have a look at that later, but once again, contact from Philippe Bucrin. Rafael Renova gets through after the pit stop he made. But you saw that Rafael was aggressive. He had to make up some spots. Hendrik Augustin in P4. Then it's on the podium, Marcus Stefan. Can he hang on? Ben Hitz trying to catch up to Mirko Bortolotti. But it seems too little too late. 11 seconds. And that is a winning margin to say hello to. Mirko Bortolotti wins the feature race at Magny-Cours and finishes it off in style by punting it into the wall. Ben Hitz is going to come through to finish P2. Then it's Marcus Stefan who's going to hold on to that podium. Hendrik Augustin was gaining, but it was too little too late for the German driver. Hendrik Augustin Rafael Renova with an extra pit stop. It still manages to finish in the top 5, and then it's Marius. Then it's Philippe Bucrin.
Yeah, just simply running for Bortolotti there. Go like a true champion.
Oh, did he have a drive-through or whatever for the incident points maybe on the last lap? We'll see. Florian Becker has come through after that massive start crash. He still manages to finish P15. How's he done that then?
Yeah, that's really quite impressive.
Waiting for all the rest to finish. Here is Markus Riemer, our last driver to finish for the Austrian Sim Racers. No, Carla Esports, sorry, but he has an Austrian Sim Racers livery on the car. Oh, hello. Well then. That's it for the feature race. Before we go to the result, we just want to go back to whatever happened at, I think, where was it? Was it turn 2? Let's go to Mirko Bortolotti at the start here.
I think it was in turn 4.
Yeah, it wasn't turn 4. This is the run up to it. Here's Philippe Bucrin. Let's go on with Florian Becker, the 74, because he's going to go for a wild ride. He's going to go into turn 4. You see it all spread out. Look at this. It's all going to unfold here. There's the contact. Everyone's going to drive into it. Constantina effect. He actually gets through quite well, drives through a car, gets into contact. Oh my goodness me. Hello, what's happening there? Oh, and he gets collected again. Yeah, off for another one. Another car that drives through him, another contact, pinball effect. Goodness me. A real rough ride for Florian Becker. But what set that off is my question. Was it the crash? Robert Heger?
It looked like...
Yeah, it was Robert Heger. Look, they're going to go 3 wide here, into the middle, a pinchy maneuver. Yeah. And that kicks it all off. Oh my goodness. Oh, look. What was the 911 do? Hello? Who's that 911 car? Ben Buhnagel. Sir? Let's look. Let's look at Ben Buhnagel. What he... Hello? I need some answers here, Edwin. Look at this. It's all unfolding ahead of him. He drives through a car. Oh, hello. Oh, hello.
Those are some ultra grippy tires. He pulled off that
My
wheel.
goodness me.
But yeah, no, that was quite a pile up.
And then here's the contact for Florian Becker again. That was quite the pile up. Alright, let's go to the results then. Let's go back to live pictures. Let's go to the results of the feature race. Mirko Bortolotti wins ahead of Ben Hitz, then Markus Steffel in P3, Hendrik Augustin 4th. Rafael Renhofer rounding off the top 5. Marius Zuk in 6th, Leon Blum 7th, Robert Koppler in P8, Martin Stadtmann in P9, Maximilian Paul finishing P10, Robert Heger 11th, Florian Stadtmann 12th, Florian Becker 13th, Ben Green, Stefano Pellegrino, Maja Truma, Jens Fiedler, and Philippe Augrin. Jan Lins and Marinka Jordanowski rounding off the top 20. Hendrik Steurer, Niels Langerveld, Moritz Hametner, Markus Riemer, and Andrea Frasinetti, P25. Tobias Kurz, Lukas Baza, and Christian Ablesser. And then Ben Bühnagel and Dave Eoma, P30. Hugo Sass and Ivan Ferrari rounding off the grid and not finishing this race. We will go to the draw for server 2. And after that, we'll be right back with you with more W12 action.
How dare you?
And we're back, and as you can see, we're at Interlagos, a track that we've had so many times in the W12 Sprint Series, a track that me, Mirko, and Maximilian Paul, actually, when we're together at the track, for example, Hockenheim for the DTM finale, joke about driving all the time. That's a good way to end practice for Hugo Zasse. But a track that we joke about so many times, a track that we've drawn so many times, and it seems like it's been drawn this evening again. 4.22 kilometers this track temperature at the minute 29 degrees. That changed to 23 for qualifying because we have now gone into qualifying. Of course, this track, Sao Paulo Autodromo José Carlos Pace, located in Sao Paulo in Brazil. A lovely track, a track that Edwin has driven on himself a couple of times as well. So we go for the expertise over to my co-commentator for this evening. Edwin, what do you make of this track?
I mean, it's a very fun track. Very short, but also couldn't be quite difficult depending on the car. Like for this example, the middle part of the track is probably going to be very important to lay down the power properly since they are front wheel driven, so you don't get torque steer. So yeah, we're coming up to that section now actually. But yeah, it's very technical. Middle part of the lap. But then yeah, the rest of the corners are quite simple really. Just basic chicanes or yeah, corners.
Just quickly, before you take us around on a lap, when Maximilian Paul does his flying lap, what exactly is torque steer? Explain that to the people.
Torque steer is when your car puts down way too much, torque on or power on the front tires, and since this car is front wheel driven, it just puts way too much power down for the wheels to keep up. So you can't really turn the car. The car just wants to. It spins its wheel and just goes straight.
And that's something that you want to try and avoid. I did a championship in these cars, and that was one of the most crucial things, putting the power down, knowing when to do it, because you induce understeer as soon as you hit that throttle pedal. But taking us around the lap now of this beautiful Autodromo José Carlos Pace is Edwin.
Yeah, so we're coming up to turn 1 here now. Downhill left-hander, very important to keep it tight here to open up the second corner and get a good exit onto the little mini straight. Coming down into turn 4. Of course, these cars don't have DRS, so no need to activate that. Coming down to turn 4 now, also downhill left. You really need to set up the corner here to get a good run up the hill. Yeah, he keeps it well within track limits. Very beautifully done. Ride the curb there, yes. Shortest way is the fastest, as they say. Here is a very tricky corner. Uphill right-hander, and it just feels like this corner goes on forever. Then this one, you also got to think of the exit, because it's a corner coming straight up. Right-hander here, hairpin, coming into another left hairpin. So this track is a lot about just getting the good exit and setting up the next corner that comes after it. Here's another tricky little right hairpin. And now this is the corner, especially in low downforce cars, that you have to set up properly, because you need to get the power running all the way through the corner, and then also set up this corner, because this goes on to the main straight. Using a lot of the curb, very nicely done, and that's a lap of Interlagos.
Maximilian Paul, purple in the second to last sector. This might be one of these majestic laps in foggy conditions at Interlagos. Rain could be on the radar, but I don't think it's going to be on the radar anytime soon. Across the line from Maximilian Paul, jumps up into P1. Florian Becker, 2/10 down on it. 6,000ths of a second is the gap between him and Marius Zug, but he has been beaten by Marius Zug. Mirko Bortolotti, what can he do? Our defending champion across the line. He will come soon. Benedict Hitz goes to P1 on a 44.245 across the line for Mirko Bortolotti. Where does he go? Puts himself in the top 3 at least. His session will develop a little bit differently than we're used to from the other sessions. Of course, we had the heat races in the first server. That won't be the case here. We'll have practice, 5 minutes of qualifying, in which we can complete 1 lap. And then we have an 18 minutes main race and then an 18-minute feature race, with a top 18 reversed in the feature race. But before we go anywhere, Marinko Jordanovski will come across the line. Can he do something about that pole? Number 63 goes up to P5. And it's quite close at the top. But crucially, everyone has come across the line. Everyone has set their lap time. And it's pole position for Ben Hitz in the Hyundai. Then Niels Langeveld, who drives these cars in real life. He qualifies in P2. Not too bad from the Dutchman either, Edwin.
Absolutely not, and it's just so tight between from P1 down to P14. It's crazy. I think it's all within like half a second. I haven't really counted together all the differences. But yeah, the entire top 14 covered by less than 0.8 of a second. That's just crazy tight.
Yes, indeed, and that's what we're used to here in the W12 Sprint Series. Not a lot of practice goes into these sessions. We have limited, after some discussions, the practice time in the second session to 27 minutes, 3 minutes less. And you say, oh, what's 3 minutes? But that's 2 extra laps, and a lot of these drivers with 2 extra laps can figure out a thing or two more, which could easily gain them over a lap, maybe 0.2 of a second. So 2 laps is a lot in racing terms. And the grid has been set. Ben Hitz will start from the pole, Edwin.
Yep, very impressive stuff by him.
Here we have the grid. Ben Hitz starts from pole. Niels Langeveld in P2. Mirko Bortolotti starts in P3. Andrea Frasinetti in P4. Marinko Jordanovski in P5. Markus Steffel P6. Marius Zug in 7th, Maximilian Paul 8th, Rafael Renhofer in P9, Leon Blum in P10, Robert Heger in 11th, and Florian Becker in P12. Then P13 for Ben Green, Jens Fiedler in P14, Tobias Kurz in P15, Christian Ableser in 16th, Jan Lind 17th, Florian Stadtmann 18th, Martin Stadtmann 19th, Lukas Baza in P20, Dave Euma in P21, Mario Trummer in P22, Hendrik Augustin P23, Hendrik Störer in P24, and all Hendrik, 12th row of the grid. Then 25th, Markus Riemer, Ivan Ferrari in P26, Hugo Zasse in P27, Stefano Pellegrino in P28, and Philippe Ungrin in P29. Let's look what these drivers can make of it. Waiting for this race to get underway. About 40 seconds left of gridding, Edwin. What are we expecting down in the turn 1 with cold tires?
Well, I mean, these cars might have ABS, but they are quite tricky on the brakes still. So they're gonna have to be really careful in the cold tires and cold brakes. So I'm expecting to see maybe 1 crash, but hopefully not. Hopefully everyone gets well clean and nicely.
Well, here we go then. 5 red lights are going to be illuminated soon.
Green flag, green
the
flag.
Niels Langeveld as well. We're having green flag racing, and that's not a great start by both our pole sitter and the driver starting in P2, Niels Langeveld. And the 2 Italians both up to the front of the field, 1 in the Honda, 1 in the Audi. Andrea Frasinetti in the Audi, that benefits from a bit better launch control at the start. He jumps up to P1, Mirko Bortolotti. And once again, a purple car in P2. Mirko Bortolotti immediately challenging to the outside of turn 4, sorry. Left-hander. And a better line, the switchback. A better exit for Mirko. The tighter line, the shorter line, which Edwin mentioned is the better line in these cars. He's going to have to carry it all the way around the outside of Frasinetti though. Both Italians at the front of the pack, not giving each other an inch. Frasinetti does get out ahead eventually. Ben Hitz in close pursuit. Maximilian Paul also making his way up there. The inside having a look, a late defense from Ben Hitz. And that's just a little bit, yeah, that's a little bit too much. Keeps turning. Maximilian Paul's clearly there, and that will be one for the stewards to review, but Maxi had bad luck last season, and that luck seems to continue this season as well. Was up into P3, fair and square, but a spin resulted in him dropping all the way down to P17. Niels Langeveld, the Dutchman, he makes his way up to P3 because of it. Marinko Jordanovski ahead of Ben Hitz as well now, but I have a feeling, Edwin, that Ben Hitz might get a post-race penalty for that. Just kept turning. Oh, a late send by Ben Hitz though. Knows he has to go on the attack now. And that's a massive send. Marinko Jordanovski saw it coming, let him through.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite late defense by Ben Hitz, and also, yeah, like you said, he just kept on turning while Maximilian Paul was there. So, yeah, that's definitely going to be one for the stewards to look at later.
Don't want to get
But
too... Sorry, go ahead.
But I have to say, the launch from the two Italians at the front was just insanely good, especially from Andrea Frassinetti, who started P4, I believe. He got such a good launch. It was well clear P1 coming into turn 1.
And he's now got Mirko Bortolotti on his outside. Once again, the two Italians going at it. The Honda has his nose in front. Mirko Bortolotti gets up into P1 ahead of Andrea Frassinetti now, but he has to watch out. He's allowing Niels Langeveld, the man who knows these cars so well, to get closer to him. And his beloved Hyundai. And it's Ben Hitz behind him now. Yeah, Ben Hitz seems strong as well, Edwin.
I mean, he did take pole position, so he is quick. Niels Langeveld might have to look behind him on this straight.
He has the slipstream of Andrea Frassinetti ahead of him. The question is he going to be close enough for that? 4/10 is the gap to Niels Langeveld from Ben Hitz. The Audis seem to be at the forefront. Not too many Hondas, however, Mirko Bortolotti is leading the race in one. Trying to start lap number 3. The pink car of Mirko Bortolotti up the front. Looking a little bit further back in the field, Lucas Baza in the pink Audi ahead of the white Audi of Stefano Pellegrino. Excuse me, it's the white Audi. The pink Audi ahead of that is Marcus Gima for Carla Esports. Something there doesn't seem right, because it seems like he's in an Austin Sim Racers t-shirt on that picture. Lucas Baza. And here he is, trying to make his way through in the 399. Stefano Pellegrino, also in the Gazex Junior team, these two teammates. Gap at the front of the field though has closed up a bit. Niels Langeveld now all over the back of Andrea Frassinetti. The Italian having to fend off the inside, does it. Niels Langeveld sends his opportunity. Puts one up the inside. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Next corner is a left-hander, and no, he isn't. He's going to try to get the exit on him, but this is not the corner to do that. Niels Langeveld has to set up another pass inside of our second to last corner. That's important to set up your straight, but surely, Edwin, with that run, he's going to get him.
Yeah, that's a great run by Niels Langeveld, so I definitely think he's going to be able to get past the Audi on this one. Looking inside, looking outside, he's choosing his line. Coming up to turn 1, who's going to be the bravest on the brakes? As we have a pit stop. Is that Ben Hitz? Yes, it is. It
is Ben Hitz going for the pit stop. Niels Langeveld up the inside of Andrea Frassinetti. He's going to make his way, he's going to barge his way through. Rubbing his racing. Frassinetti does exactly the same, comes back at him. Left-hander now. Naturally understeering front wheel cars here, so they have to watch out. Both keep it pretty tight. Frassinetti with the power of that Audi, pulling alongside of Niels Langeveld again. Niels Langeveld still has the inside for turn 4. Barges his way through again. Finally has his rear end clear. The nose of Frassinetti can finally slot in front. But the fighting of these two has allowed Mirko Bortolotti to create a 1.6 second gap at the front. A bit of a snap from Frassinetti. Was there contact there?
I think it looked like there was contact between the two, but like you said, this allows Mirko Bortolotti to just build a gap up there. Like we said in the last one, just find a rhythm and just keep at his own pace.
Frasinetti being overtaken left, right and centre because of it. Marius Zug is the next one up in the Audi Sport livery for Der Sport. Oh, a bit of a snap. Who was that? That was Robert Heger in the pink and black Audi. Of course, Marius Zug senses his opportunity to put one up the inside. Let's compromise his run onto the straight a little. I think Jordanowski doesn't seem to have the pace once again that he had in qualifying. Seems to be great at one lap pace, but just seems to lack a bit of race pace at the moment. Into the pits, both of them come. Robert Heger, Jordanowski, choosing for an early pit stop. That might be nice. They might be able, Edwin, to tow each other along.
Yeah, they could really use the benefit of slipstream here to help them, both of them.
A battle here between Maximilian Paul, who's trying to recover. He's made it all the way up to P15 already. Martin Stadtmann is behind him, pushing him along the straight. This is what I'm expecting from the two that have just pitted as well. Marinko Jordanowski, here he is, behind Robert Heger. He's a bit too far back though, Edwin. Ideally, Robert Heger would have wanted him to be closer to help overall lap time by maybe a bump draft on the straight.
Yeah, we'll see if Jordanowski is going to be able to close up that gap, but you know, this is quite a difficult track, and I seem to have forgotten who qualified in front of these two. But it seems like he is closing up that gap, so hope's not over yet.
But Heger, bit of a mistake going into the right-hander. He's definitely closing up that gap. Look at it. 0.8 of a second it was. It's not anymore. Gap's come down. Between Robert Heger and P11 and Marinko Jordanowski. 0.4 of a second. And with that long straight coming up, Edwin, I bet you he's going to be right on the back of him. Now the question is, does he want to work together?
Yeah, that's always the question between drivers. Are they thinking about the same thing, or are we just only thinking about themselves? I mean, us as racing drivers are quite selfish, so you never know. But yeah, he's definitely got the slipstream right now. Won't be close enough for an attack on this lap. Unless he makes a huge lunge. No, he's not close enough.
No, I don't think he's going to try it from that far back. He's just going to ruin both of their races. But now that there isn't that much happening in the field, drivers are close but not quite in overtaking pursuit, except for maybe Hendrik Augustin, we could have a look at the green flag once again. And then looking at Mirko Bortolotti, Andrea Frasinetti. Look at the jump he gets! Well clear of Mirko Bortolotti going into turn one. See if we can find a better camera angle of it. Here's the green flag. Drivers revving up. Look at that. Second on the right hand side. Look at the start he gets. Niels Langeveld and Ben Hoffa getting absolutely nowhere. Or Ben Hitz at the front of the field getting absolutely nowhere with that start. Mirko Bortolotti and Andrea Frasinetti both getting through on them. And that's ultimately, Edwin, what has set them up for, or at least Mirko Bortolotti, what is becoming a pretty boring race at the front of the field for him.
Yeah, it just seems like this is what he does. He just gets in front and then just controls the race from there. So I think he's going to be very hard to beat today.
Let's see what he can do in that reverse top 18. Because that's going to be difficult to get past. But what we've seen in previous seasons as well, if there is drama up ahead, Mirko Bortolotti always seems to find his way out of there. I'm knocking on wood and everything to not commentate or curse him for the next race. But he always seems to find his way through. Hendrik Augustin trying to find his way around the outsides of Ivan Ferrari. Fends that off nicely. Italian flag at the front of that car. Obviously, if you're running a name that is Ferrari, you have to kind of Oh, the grass is not part of the racing track, but he uses it to his advantage. And he keeps that car ahead. Henrik Augustin piling up the pressure though, Edvin.
Absolutely. I think he's going to look for a move around the outside here, coming into turn 4. Maybe try the switchback. Yes, that's definitely what he's going to try to do. Gets the shorter line up towards the uphill right-hander. Is he going to keep it around the outside here?
Yes, he is. Still a nose ahead for Henrik Augustin. Oh, he's not going to make it through, is he? He isn't. He isn't around the outside. Of course he is. He is able to make it stick. Another corner to the right after this one. These two are having a ding-dong battle. Even Ferrari now the car ahead once again. These two have been side by side now almost, Edvin, for an entire lap. And finally, Henrik Augustin gets by. Now Ben Green fancies some of it. Ben Green fancies the blood that he's smelling from Ivan Ferrari. And he gets past, even though might be the smarter of the two, because look what he's got now. And he's got a massive, massive tilt from that Hyundai ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a absolutely brilliant side-by-side battle going through almost the entire lap. So very well done by them not to crash into each other.
Here we go
But
once
yeah,
again.
no.
Ferrari the outside this time. Ben Green sends it round the outside, sends it in deep. And he gets that done. Oh, there's a car on the grass that has to reset. Marcus Rima, did he run out of fuel? He hasn't, has he? Not again, someone running out of fuel. But Marcus Rima has to reset to pit lane. And he's nowhere. Mirko Bortolotti, meanwhile, at the front of the field. From Niels Langeveld, 2.5 seconds gap, staying the same though. But if we know one thing, is that Mirko Bortolotti, once he's out at the front of the field, he can control the pace. He knows exactly what he's doing. And he also knows how to fuel save. We saw that in the Subaru that he was in. And he seemed quick there while being able to save fuel. He knows so well how to handle these cars, be quick, save fuel while not losing too much time. Let's see when Mirko Bortolotti is able to pit. I'm expecting him to go at least a lap longer than anyone else, but he isn't. He's coming in now. Well, the commentator has a bit of a voice crack. Mirko Bortolotti enters pit lane. Niels Langeveld does exactly the same. Andrea Frazinetti, Marius Zug, Leon Blum does the same as well. He's all the way at the front, is Mirko Bortolotti. Third pit box from the front. Don't overshoot, that's important. He doesn't. And he's first out again, and this is where he's so strong. Look, takes less fuel, and look at the gap that he's been able to open up. To Marius Zug, Ben hits, Niels Langeveld is still in pit lane. Leon Blum still in pit lane, Marin Kurdanovsky still in pit lane. Look at the gap he's just been able to open up, Edvin. And that is what I was coming up to. It's not only the racing that he's so good at, it's the strategy that it involves to do what he wants to do is what he's so good at. And it's what winning him, it's basically what's been winning him the championships.
Yeah, I mean, he just seems to be such a well-rounded driver, thinking about the strategy, fuel saving very well, while also keeping up the pace and being consistent lap through lap. But yeah, now we're gonna see if Raphael Renhofer maybe has a chance to get back at him or catch up to him. He might be higher iRating, but as they say, iRating is just a number.
Mirko Bortolotti has said that himself even. You can trust me, if Mirko Bortolotti says that, it's true. I mean, we saw that with Philippe Augrin earlier on. It was, yeah, let's be honest, it was quite something that Philippe Augrin, being a silver driver, 1.8k, 1,800 iRating, matching with someone who's 7.5 in Mirko Bortolotti, someone who's 9.7. iRating is just a number. Because at the end of the day, drivers who do not do a lot of officials and still have a lot of speed. Won't have that high of an I rating. But the truth also is, Edvin, you don't get 10k I rating out of nowhere.
Absolutely not. But it seems like Philippe Gauguin is actually struggling this race, though. He's not as strong as he was in the rallycross around Magny-Cours. So, well, we'll see if he can maybe climb up the field a little bit. But it seems like he's got quite a gap to the car in front. As we have a... Oh, that's a very late defense right there. Coming down to turn 4, side by side. Are we going to get another switchback?
He's looking for it. And he's got it. He's up his inside. Now once again, shorter line. The outside though for the next corner.
And they have the driver who pulled up the same move right behind them a few laps earlier. Just closing in.
This has now become a 3-horse fight. Robert Hega having to defend from both Leon Blum and Hendrik Augustin. And we know Hendrik Augustin is fast. He hadn't had quite the luck in this race. Hendrik Augustin is now looking, staring at the back of the 2 outers in front of him, trying to get a good exit. No toe for Robert Hega. He's going to be sitting duck on this straight, Edvin.
Yeah. The toe is quite strong in these cars, and also the best thing about these cars is it can produce very good racing.
We're seeing some of that in action here. White flag is out. Last lap of the race has been started. Mirko Bortolotti at the front, but Robert Hega has to defend from Leon Blum on his outside. He's going to be able to do so. He's going to get first to the apex of turn 2.
And now Leon Blum is going to be vulnerable to Hendrik Augustin, who's going to try it around the outside.
He is indeed. The 99 of Hendrik Augustin.
And then he's also now getting the toe from the car in front. I think he's pulled that move off stick.
Oh, still the outside. You said he made it stick, but he came back on the inside. Or Leon Blum, and he managed to make that pass. But
I think there might have been a little contact, though.
Yeah, I can imagine that Hendrik Blum wasn't too happy with how that pass was made, though. Gloves are off now on this last lap. Marius Zug, also close behind Ben Hitz. This is for the top 5. Remember, we're going to reverse our top 18. But every point is valuable in this championship. Augustin still on the back of him. Meanwhile, Mirko Bortolotti at the front of the field has had quite a lonely race into the last corner. Not going to be able to do anything. Mirko Bortolotti, though, is going to start this season just like he ended the last one. A win at Magny-Cours, a win at Interlagos. He wins the main race at Interlagos in the TCRs. With a commanding lead, 3.5 seconds after a mega start from the Italian.
It's very close between Hendrik Augustin and Leon Blum. Less than a 10th between them.
Oh, there's a car stranded in turn 1. Had to make their way round. Hendrik Augustin and Leon Blum across the line. 69 thousandths of a second. Very nice, that is. Lucas Baza. He also has to come across the line. That's going to be tight as well with Florian Stadtmann. But Florian Stadtmann in the end does get him. And that is main race done. I'm waiting for Philippe Gauguin to come through. Across the line for Philippe Gauguin. And he finishes off this race. We're going to have a little warm-up in between for the drivers to cool down for just 2 seconds. Then we're going to go into the feature race. Well then, let's take a look at our results for Heat 1. And here they are. Mirko Bortolotti wins 3.5 seconds ahead of the Share Esports Audi of Rafael Renhofer. Then it's Andrea Frasinetti. After that mega start for 07 Racing, ends up in P3. Ben Hitz in 4th, Marius Zug 5th, Niels Langeveld 6th for Gazex, Marnik Jordanowski 7th for Gazex, Robert Hega in P8, Leon Blum 9th, Henrik Augustin rounding off our top 10, Ivan Ferrari, Ben Green, Maximilian Paul, Martin Stadtmann and Florian Becker in 15th, Stefano Pellegrino in 16th, Marco Steffel 17th, Christian Ablasser in 18th position. Then 19th, Florian Stadtmann, Lucas Baza rounding off top 20, Jan Linz in 21st, Jens Fiedler 22nd, 23rd for Mario Trummer, Philippe Grin in P24, Hugo Zasse 25th, Markus Riemer P26, David Oma P27 and Tobias Kurz P28. The last 4 drivers not making the end of this one. A little bit of a cool down time now, even though it's called warm-up, Edvin. What will the drivers be looking to do during this period? Just cool off, get out of their rig, stretch their legs or whatever?
Yeah, probably. Or the drivers who feel like they're still good to go is probably going to be practicing their starts.
I mean, that was a crucial point, which we saw in the race earlier. Starts are so crucial, and that's exactly what we're seeing here in the back straight. All drivers are practicing their starts, trying to get it right.
Yeah, it's very important to find the correct buy point on the clutch. Because you don't want to end up with a lot of wheel spin, especially not in these cars, because then you do get the torque steer that I explained earlier.
Yeah, that seemed like a better one from Jan Linz. I have it in the older version of the Hyundai. Mario Trummer. Quite invisible in that race. But we'll be looking to do better in the reverse grid. If we look at our results real quickly, Edwin, that means that Christian Ablasser is going to start on the pole ahead of Markus Steffel on the front row. And Markus Steffel, we know that was tight. That he's quick from in the rallycross cars, so let's see what that's going to bring. We'll just quickly go through the top 18. The rest will be exactly the same as it was before. Here is our grid. Christian Ablasser starts on pole. Markus Steffel next to him. Stefano Pellegrino 3rd. Florian Becker 4th. Martin Stadtmann 5th. Maximilian Paul 6th. Ben Green. Ivan Ferrari on the 4th row. 5th row for Henrik Augustin and Leon Blum. Then Robert Hega and Marinko Jordanowski on the 6th row of the grid. 7th row of the grid, P13 and 14, Niels Langeveld and Marius Zug. Ben Hitz 15th, Andrea Frasinetti 16th, Rafael Renhofer P17 and Mirko Bortolotti in P18, our last of our reversed top 18. What are we expecting? There are chances up for grabs here, Edvin. Are we expecting drivers to go aggressive?
Green flag,
whenever I do these kinds of races, I always try to... Oh, race is going.
Yeah, we've started already. Not much time, only a minute to grid for these drivers. Christian Ablasser with a good start this time round at the front. Markus Steffel following him through. Let's look further in the background, what's happening there. Let's look at Ivan Ferrari, who's going to try and make his way through. Mirko Bortolotti. Oh, he is caught up in one this time. And that car severely damaged.
And
Letters and messages can be sent to my address. Mirko Bortolotti, this time he's caught up in one. And I don't think, with the damage that he has now, he's going to be able to climb any higher than at least the top 10.
Yeah, that's probably going to severely limit his top end speed. So he's going to have a difficult time defending on the straights here, I believe. But wow, these drivers are really going at it coming up to turn 6.
Zasse leading this group. Rafael Renhofer trying to make his way around Niels Langeveld. Niels Langeveld sending it in deep contact. Niels Langeveld goes round. Basically the same on what we saw earlier on in this session, or in this server, with Maximilian Paul. Talking about Maximilian Paul, look where he is right now. He is the laughing third in his Audi. At the front of the field, though, Markus Steffel trying to make his way around Christian Ablasa. He doesn't manage. Or was Christian Ablasa trying to make his way around Markus Steffel? I think it was. Markus Steffel at the front of the field, still defending his position. Maximilian Paul, though, up to second. Slipstream's going to do its thing here on this straight, Edvin. Side by side between Martin Stammen and Hendrik Augustin on the outside. Hendrik Augustin seems to be involved in almost every battle this evening. A tap once again from Hendrik. Damage on the left-hand side of that car. That front left is done. That might be Martin Stammen done for this race.
That's a left front puncture.
Yeah, he's dragging. He's still going to brake late, though. He's still going to make it 3 wide into the next one. Martin Stammen. Oh, where is he going to put his car? He's dragging. This is not a position you want to be in. Bortolotti with that broken car has come out of pit lane in P21. Now has his own race to drive. I think fuel saving can start for the Italian. Obviously, with making his pit stop that early, he now has to make a pit stop again in this feature race. 15 minutes to go.
Oh yeah, we do have Markus Steffel in the front and Maximilian Paul, both very quick drivers from what we've seen tonight. It's going to be an interesting battle, this.
Hendrik Augustin in the background has seemed to involve himself in almost every battle that we've had on this track so far, Edvin. As a driver, though, spinning someone out like that, it's not the best feeling in the world, is it?
No, it's really not a good feeling. Even when you feel it's not your own fault, you never like taking out another driver out of the race, so...
As a driver, though, you have to kind of like get your head down again and just focus on the task in hand, I would say.
Yeah, that's one thing you really need to be able to do as a racing driver is make sure your emotions don't affect the way you drive. Oh, we're having a scrap for P1 now. Between Maximilian Paul and Markus Steffel.
Markus Steffel still holding on, but Maximilian Paul definitely putting under pressure here, Edvin.
Yeah. Is he going to send it around the outside of turn 6? I believe he is. But he's not going to make that stick. Is he going to try for a lunge? He's setting it up.
He's making Markus Steffel look in his mirrors at least.
Yeah, Maximilian Paul here versus Markus Steffel, and Hendrik Augustin is also joining into the party now. Robert Higa behind. Markus Steffel got a little bit of a gap now coming onto the main straight. We'll see if he's going to be able to attack in front or if he's going to have to look in the mirror. I believe the latter is more the way it's going to go. Hendrik Augustin less than 3 tenths behind. Coming up to a start-finish line. Oh, Maximilian Paul doesn't look happy. Flashing. Bunch of pit stops now. Is Hendrik Augustin gonna send it? No, he's sticking behind now.
No, mistake from Maximilian Paul. That could be crucial.
And Augustin is up to P2.
After waiting that one out, Maximilian Paul finally makes that mistake. And he's back down into P3. A crucial mistake for Maximilian Paul. Not something that we're used to seeing from Maximilian Paul. Usually has the race pace and the consistency to just drag him through these races. Got unlucky in the main race with that contact, was up there then. But after what seems like looking at the front of that car, maybe some contact in turn 1. with Markus Steffel is down into P3 now, with Robert Hega hot on his heels.
Yeah, he's gonna have to look in his rear view mirrors a lot more now. Robert Higa looks very eager to get past.
Hugo Zasser, he's behind Ivan Ferrari.
And Mirko Bortolotti is up to P18 again after some pit stops. Oh, look at the front of that car in front of him, Ivan Ferrari. Surprising he's still up there.
Yeah, that Honda doesn't look too happy at all. Is he going to make his pit stop now? He might be. Yes, he is. Going to pull out in front of him. And he's going to make his pit stop. A lot of people going to make their pit stop in, I think, about a lap or two here. Drivers at the front of the field, though, will try to stay out as long as possible to not fall back into any traffic that's potentially going to hamper their overall race time. But Markus Steffel keeping his own at the front of the field.
Yeah, he's doing very well, and he did very well in the rallycross as well in qualifying. Didn't really seem to quite have the pace in the races, but he's really showing he has the pace here.
I was expecting a bit more from Hendrik Augustin after he got past. Has set the fastest lap of this race, a 1:43.90. They're the only ones into the 43s, but Hugo Zasser in the background has now gone into the 43s as well. A 43 for Ben Hitz on a 43.74 and a 43.47 for Rafael Renhofer. Mirko Bortolotti is 3/10 slower than that. That's a 43.78. So even Mirko Bortolotti not able to match the pace that Renhofer is putting down. Florian Becker improving to a 44.4 further back in the field as well. But I was expecting more from Hendrik Augustin. It looked like he had the pace to at least run up to him and try and push him for the lead a bit.
Yeah, he might just be sitting behind, mapping out how Markus Steffel is driving, where he's quick, where he's a bit slower maybe, and then try to see where he's gonna make his attack. But he is getting closer. Can he set something up for the second straight here, but coming down to turn 4. Get a good exit here.
Oh yes, he did. A good exit he got. But I don't think it's going to be enough. 3/10 is just a bit too far away. And with the gap that they're creating at the moment to Maximilian Paul, might be a nice gap to have during the pit stop cycle as well. He does have a look. Makes Markus Steffel work for P1 at least. Looking further back, look at this battle. This is the battle between Mirko Bortolotti, Hugo Zasser, who's now just come out of pit lane. Slipstream being used by Mirko Bortolotti. He's going to send one up the inside. No, he isn't. He's been smart about that one. Yeah, look at that pressure on Hugo Zasser. And Mirko Bortolotti gets through that way. Still on the inside though, Hugo Zasser going to send one. Yes, he is. Mirko Bortolotti knows exactly how to handle these usually. Swoops it round the outside. Next one is also to the right. The exit's going to be important for the both of them. Inside now for Mirko Bortolotti, and he gets past. P14 though for Mirko Bortolotti, trying to make up some positions here. A couple of drivers ahead of him still have to pit. Marius Zug at the moment, the driver leading that train of drivers who have already pit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. But yeah, Mirko Bortolotti trying to make whatever strategy he had to put in because of the damage work. We also have Hendrik Augustin, Maximilian Paul into the pit lane now. Same with Christian Ablasse and Florian Stadtmann. Where are they gonna come out compared to this battle going on right here?
Zug still keeping all of them behind. This is allowing Mirko Bortolotti to catch up nicely to that train. Henrik Augustin, after making his pit stop, emerging back in front of Lucas Baza. Mario Truma now ahead of him. I did tell you, quite of an invisible race in the first one. Looking to do better now, and he is. Still has to make his pit stop, but is up into P4 now. Markus Steffel, when is he going to make his stop, you think, Edwin? Is he going to try and make it as far as possible? Or you think he's going to go in soon?
I think he has to react now on this lap. Otherwise, because I do believe the undercut is quite strong here. So I think he's going to react this lap. And we'll see who comes out on top after the pit stops. Henrik Augustin or Markus Steffel. But yeah, Markus Steffel having a healthy gap down to P2 and Robert Higa. Yeah, this battle is still going on. Raphael Reinhofer, we're following right now. Oh, bit of a battle up in front between Jordanovski and Mayer Sug. Is it going to be an attack coming into turn 1 on this lap? I do believe it is. Raphael Reinhofer right behind as well.
Yeah, it looks like he might be able to capitalize on something here. Chooses to go to the outside for Marek Jordanovski. Jordanovski is going to have to go the long way around. We'll get the inside for turn 2, but he won't even make it that far. And here comes Reinhofer. Tried to make his way past. He can't. He's now under attack from Ben Hitz. Mirko Bortolotti's made his way back up into the top 10 somehow. Stefano Pellegrino leading this race though, and that's a silver driver.
Yeah, impressive stuff by him, but it's getting close between Henrik Augustin and Markus Steffel now. Less than 2 temps.
There is that battle. Getting all the way up to the back of Markus Steffel. This will become the battle for the lead. Stefano Pellegrino still having to make a pit stop.
Do keep in mind though, Markus Steffel do have the fresher tires now. Still a little cold from the pit stop, I believe. So Henrik Augustin needs to capitalize on this now if he wants to get past, I think.
Yeah, I wonder if they have taken new tires though. I wonder if they have, looking at the pit stop times, they've only stopped for about 5 seconds. So if they did take a tire, I assume it's going to be the front right, because that one gets punished so much around these corners, these long corners around this track. The left hand or the right handers are quite slow. Into the pit lane goes Stefano Pellegrino. That makes this the battle for the lead. But maybe, Edwin, he doesn't want to get past now.
Yeah, he might be leaving it more towards the end of the race. Maybe even the final lap. Make it so that Markus Steffel can come back at him.
Maximilian Paul, all the meanwhile, still 1.4 behind these two. If something happens between the two at the front, he's right there to capitalize from it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, they have Maximilian Paul right behind there, so we do need to keep in mind not to battle too hard maybe, so we let him into the fight again. But that's always easy to say to a racing driver who only thinks about the car in front and wants to overtake.
Yeah, and especially if it is for the lead, Edwin, you want to do it as soon as possible. You always think, oh, but what if I could drive away? What if I could get away from the guy who's now in front of me, Markus Steffel? Create that gap that I need. What if I can't overtake on the final lap? If I want to leave it to the final lap? These are all things that you think about, take into account when you're P2 fighting for P1. Looking a little bit further back though, Ben Hitz on Marinko Jordanovski. Jordanovski once again gets out ahead. Mirko Bortolotti though on P8, catching up to the both of them. I didn't think, to be honest, Edwin, that after the damage I saw on that car, Mirko Bortolotti was going to get much from it. But he might be able to get as much as P4 if I look at this battle. Ben Hitz side by side with Marinko Jordanovski. It's going to allow Mirko Bortolotti to tow up to the back of them nicely. Of course, he's teammates with Marinko Jordanovski. So if he can, he will try and support him. The front of that Audi looking a bit wonky. So Ben Hitz gets through. Marco Bortolotti now right at the back of his teammate Mariko Jordanovski.
Yeah, and just to comment on what you said there with Mirko Bortolotti, yeah, he definitely striving like the 6-time champion he is right now, recovering, damage limitation. But look at the top two, so close between the two of them for so many laps now.
Yeah, Marcus Steffel must be getting sick of that green and white Audi in his rearview mirror. And, well, Henrik Augustin in turns must be getting sick at the back of that Audi. He doesn't want to know how the back of an Audi looks. He only wants to know how the front of it looks in his rearview mirror. And the Carla Esports Audi. He's trying to find a way around, but he can't really. Marius Zug, though, is trying to attack Rafael Renhofer. Rafael sends it into the apex. That slows the both of them down. That allows Mariko Jordanovski to come back at them. Ben Hitz might get a run too. Rafael Renhofer leading this pack. Will be a sitting duck on this straight. He will go to the white flag this time round, though. Last lap will start now. When, oh when, will Henrik Augustin try it? Because he's too far back now.
If he's gonna make the move, I do believe he's gonna have to do it in the middle part of the lap, because the slipstream isn't strong enough in these cars for it to be up to the line. He has to be really close, less than a tenth coming onto the straight then, I believe. So he's gonna have to find a way to either pass him down into turn 4 here, but I don't think he's got the run for it. So he's gonna have to try and find a gap in the middle part of the lap.
No, he sent it in too hard into turn 1. It did gain him overall lap time, though, it seems like, compared to Marcus Steffel. But it didn't give him the run that he might have wanted to try and make a pass here. But I think he will take that for granted. He has the whole middle sector now to catch up to Marcus Steffel. We're going to stay with this top 2 battle. See if Henrik Augustin is able to get past. On board now with Henrik Augustin. You can hear the beautiful turbo noises that this Audi produces. Tighter than Marcus Steffel there. Tighter into the left-hander as well. That's going to gain him speed into the corner, but not speed out. And that's what he needs coming onto the straight. Gap between the two staying almost the same. This is the crucial one, though, and he doesn't get it quite right. Gap opens up. He tried everything he could. But it looks like it's going to be too little too late. Last corner, last real corner to go now for Marcus Steffel. Just needs to make sure he gets a good exit, and he does. And I think that might be it, Edvin. I think that might be it. I don't think he has the run to get close enough. And after what's been a fight for 18 minutes and 11 laps straight, Henrik Augustin is going to have to settle for P2. But Marcus Steffel is a W12 Sprint Series winner. He wins at Interlagos in the feature race. In the TCRs, Henrik Augustin in second, Maximilian Paul, after what was an unlucky first race, finishes in P2, or P3, excuse me, does enough to at least keep him in contention. Rafael Renhofer P4, Marius Zug P5, Ben Hitz 6th. All drivers already resetting back to pit lane. Whew, time to take a breather. Everyone was so close during that race. But in the end, the slipstream not quite strong enough to really do anything. Let's look at the results from that race then. Marcus Steffel wins ahead of Henrik Augustin in P2, Maximilian Paul in P3, Rafael Renhofer P4, Marius Zug 5th, Ben Hitz 6th, Mariko Jordanovski in P7, Mirko Bortolotti 8th, Hugo Zasse 9th, Florian Becker 10th, Robert Heger 11th, Andrea Frasinetti in P12, Leon Blum in P13, Langeveld in 14th, Ablasa 15th, Pellegrino 16th, Stadtmann 17th, and Jens Fiedler in P18. P19 Jan Lins, Stadtmann in 20th, Martin Stadtmann, Mario Trummer, P21, Ugret 22nd, Baza 23rd, Ferrari 24th, Green 25th, Rima 26th, 27th for Davy Oma, and Tobias Kurz in P20. 8 not finishing this race together with Ben Green, Marcus Rima, and Davy Uwema. Well, that's that for tonight. Once again, what an evening we've had, Edwin. Thank you very much for being alongside me. Let's check if we have some drivers in for an interview. No, we don't. So that'll be it for us then for tonight, Edwin. A favorite moment of the last race?
Well, it's a really difficult one, but probably the start and by Andrea Frasetti and Mirko Bortolotti in the first heat.
Yep, I would agree with that. It's been an amazing evening here for W12. Mirko Bortolotti with 2 victories on the trot, a main victory in the second server and a feature race victory in the first server. And then it's Marcus Steffel who wins the second race in server 2. That's been it for all of us for today, though. We'll be back next week with more of W12 action as we continue, and you won't want to miss it. And let's see what we draw then. For now, goodbye, and thank you for watching.